friends, and welcome to the show. Welcome to In the Loop. I am Winnie Sun. It's great to see you. You may have seen me on CNBC, as well as I'm a Forbes contributor. I did share a new piece today. Definitely check that out. And of course, I'm a longtime managing partner of Sun Group Wealth Partners. I'm excited to be here with you with the one and only Greg Nibbler. Greg, hello. How are you this week?
I am doing good. Hello, Winnie, and hello, everyone. Yeah, for tuning in. So I'm Greg Nibbler, in case you don't know who I am or followed. I've been a tech reporter for a long time. I've worked for the NBA. I've got a company called Two Box Media where we handle live streaming services. So all kinds of things along those lines, and just love being here every week talking about some cool things. There's a bunch coming up here that we're going to cover on this show. And as always, we want to hear what you think, what your opinions are. We are live. So, and since we're live, you may notice that I may start sweating. I'm just going to say that now. And that is not because of the live part. It's because it's very warm in Oregon right now, and I cannot keep my house cool. So I'm just putting that out there. If random beads of sweat start coming down, it's not because I'm nervous about the show. It's because I'm physically sweating. So
you're physically sweating.
I'm physically sweating. I'm just putting that out there in case, so there's not anybody horrified, as they're watching, like, what's wrong with
Greg?
What's
happening?
What's happening to
melting. Greg Nibbler, the friend you want to go to space and back with, is telling you information that some of you are like, okay, that's good to know. You know what? I see so many of you joining us. Thank you, Sadiq, for being here once again. Joshua, CrossX Fighter, it's wonderful to have you here. Modern Mom, thank you all so much for joining us. It is such a treat. Let's start, because we have so much on the plate. We're going to talk Disney. I know, Greg, we're going to talk about Amazon. I know you're going to talk to us about VR and Facebook. A lot of good stuff. So you're going to want to say, but let's start with the market. Let you know how it closed, because you're going to like this news. The market had a really good day today. Positive day across the board. The Dow closed up 271 points. NASDAQ, tech heavy, up 114 points. And the S&P also up 26 points. Today we had some pretty positive information coming out of employment data as well. The Labor Department actually reported jobless claims ending last week came out at 385,000, which was right in line with expectations. Now this follows yesterday's, because yesterday ADP did a different payroll report that showed a little bit of weakness, some disappointment. But, looks like this, if this is an indication of things to come, we'll take it. Areas that are doing well today also were travel stocks, believe it or not, including airlines, which are improving because Americans are feeling like they want to put this pandemic behind them, way behind them if you can. But on other news in terms of travel, you may have been seeing, because this is news that you'll want to be paying attention to, Disney has just announced something very special for you Disney fans out there. It might be something you've even been waiting for, and that is the Magic Key. The Magic Key, you might ask, is this actually a key? It's not a key, but it's actually the new name for their season pass. And here's the best part. This actually may be, number one, cheaper, and number two, more convenient for you for your next trip to Disneyland or California Adventure, which is like honestly only about 20 minutes from me. This actually could make your vacation that much more fun. And maybe if you're a season ticket holder, or a Magic Key holder, I should say, you'll be able to go more than once per year, and it'll be a lot easier to get through. So the new program is still going to provide value for those of you who are planning to visit multiple times a year. So to give you a comparison idea of how much this is going to be, typically the adult tickets for Greg to go to Disneyland, for example, is going to be between $104 to $154 for a single day under Disney's 5-tier system. Plus, you also then need to pay another $55 for a park hopper that gets you to Disneyland as well as California Adventure on the same day. But for this Magic Key pass holders, this is pretty cool. The pass holder system, basically the ticket for this Magic Key, I should say, is going to average between $399 a year for those of you who are like me here in Southern California, all the way to about $1,400 for those of you, maybe like Greg, who want that ticket where there's no blackout dates, plenty of flexibility, lots of great perks, and free parking. I don't know, Greg, have you seen this?
No, I have not. I haven't been to Disneyland for quite a while, but that sounds like it's a pretty good deal. If you're thinking, it's $150, $200 just for a single day to actually wrap that in, especially, if you're nearby or you plan on going there quite a bit. That's actually kind of surprising that Disney is giving some savings on that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I love it, Greg. And not only that, for me, this is awesome because if you're able to reserve your tickets, Disney is saying they really thought through this process. You know, during the pandemic, one of the things they did is they stopped selling season tickets, and actually they even closed the park off to visitors for quite some time. So during that process, they want to solve some some issues, right? One of them being overcrowding, of course, what those new season passes will look like, and they wanted to make sure that they give pass holders as well as these magic key pass holders as well more value for their dollar. And this site might just accomplish this because if they're able to control how many people come in, then hopefully when you go visit there and you do make an investment to go to Disney, that the lines aren't so long and you're thinking, wow, this is a really great value. Want to say a quick hello too. I see Vicky joining us. I see Alvina, my dear friend Alvina on Facebook. It's wonderful to see you as well. Alvina, I'm going to tell you, is a media powerhouse. Wonderful to see all of you. Thank you so much for joining us. And Greg, when we talk about Disney, one thing you know how to do. This is a financial geek in me. You might appreciate this. I wanted to calculate, what was like the inflation rate of these passes, right? Because I did some research, and so Disney actually started their whole season pass thing in like 1983. I don't know, that was a long time ago, but the annual pass was about $100 per person. Or for adults especially. And so I thought, okay, well, now I didn't go with the highest one, which is like $1,400, right? With no blackout days. Cause I figured, well, that would include California Adventure and all these other perks. And then I didn't go with the California pass because obviously that's the lowest. So kind of pick one of the ones in the middle. So I picked this pass called the Believe Key Pass, which is $949, believe it or not. And I said, okay, so being that this pass has been around for 37 years, it started at $100, so then what is Disneyflation? So based on my calculations, Greg, Disneyflation is in excess of 6% per year. Is that bigger or smaller than you expected?
I mean, I guess that's not that bad if you do it year over year, because normally you would think, I suppose, I don't think that's terrible. 6% doesn't seem to be too bad if it's year over year, over 30 years of time. I don't know how that would compare to what actual, the dollar value compared to that, how much that has changed over the years. This is why I turn to you for that information. But I would say just based on that, that doesn't seem too bad. Am I wrong on that?
Right? I gotta say the same thing, Greg. I actually suspected it would be higher. So typically, historical inflation in the U.S. here is anywhere between 2 to 3 and 3+%. So obviously higher than typical inflation that you would see on things like like your groceries or things like that. So there's a premium for Disney, but I actually thought that number would be even greater. Now, interesting enough, because this is what I do, right? I also did a recent study on the cost of university and college is averaging about 6% inflation as well. In some parts, even closer to double digits. So, Disney, college, I feel like it's both getting very, very expensive. Maybe one day and you can price this out too. Disney's also letting you pay for this on a payment plan too. You don't even have to pay for the whole thing in one swoop, which makes sense because if you're buying that full-fledged pass, $1,400 is a lot of money to devote to Disney per year.
Definitely. I wonder, can you use it while you're paying it for it, or you have to wait until you pay the entire thing off?
No, you can actually use it.
Nice.
But the only thing is, from what I see though, it seems like you can only make payments if actually you're based in Southern California, or actually in California, period. I think Northern California too. But I'm wondering what is, I guess that would sort of make sense because, if you're out of state, would you really justify the full-fledged,
I think you'd have to be a pretty big fan. And I do know people who are that big a fan that go down 2 or 3 times a year. And that's just from up here, some friends that I have. So I think there are people that would make that commute, but you've got to be really, really dedicated to going there enough. I wonder how many times where it would actually make it worth it. I guess maybe 3 times, probably. This is just going off the top of my head. But if you did it 3 times a year, I suppose that would probably work out, right?
Well, I think if you lived in Southern California and got that select or the lowest pass, then for $399, I think you would need to go at least 4 times. But then you have to factor in things like, and parking is another $25 each time you park. So I think it can certainly add up. But I mean, it's nice to be able to reserve your date. I think that's cool. So if
Yeah.
you know you're gonna arrange vacation schedule with your boss and you be like, okay, I'm going to Disneyland this day. I know I can get in. It's not gonna be crazy. I'm hoping to see that. I'm hoping that they really do a good job of crowd control because I haven't
Mhm.
been there during the pandemic, but I have seen photos on Twitter and it kind of looks like really crowded. So
Yeah, that's definitely something that would factor in. Although Galaxy's Edge, which is what I really, really want to go to and have not been to yet, that is something that I would certainly want to get down there too. But yeah, if it's too crowded right now, I probably would pass on it. But if they do control it and it's, you can reserve your date and there's no blackouts, I mean, that's a pretty cool thing to go in and have it, I don't know, whatever the capacity would be, but not full capacity. That would be totally worth it to me. And
yeah.
Galaxy's Edge, if anybody wants to send me down there, I'm totally down for that.
Okay, we're definitely going to talk more about Greg Disney in just a moment.
Yes.
But the other thing that I really want to talk to you about, Greg, is this. I know you and I were talking about Amazon lately, but Amazon actually today announced that they're going to postpone returning their employees to the office, those who actually work in the corporate office, until next January. And I thought this was interesting to talk about because, we've seen a lot of companies come out and say they're going to go back to work in August and then, maybe it was September. And so Amazon had originally said that they were going to send corporate employees back on September 7th of this year. But then we also saw Google, Facebook, Apple, Twitter also adjust their return to work dates. So everybody seems to be saying like October. I talked to a good friend at CNBC yesterday and they said maybe not until December, even though it was supposed to be September. Things are changing so quickly because of COVID. I mean, this is definitely going to put impact on a lot of corporate employees.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of a bellwether too, because one thing that I follow for tech, there's a lot of conventions that happen in the fall or product releases. And we're going to actually talk about some of those here in a minute, but big things like that, where that used to have people attend them in person. They've kind of gone to a virtual thing, but then you have things like CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. And right now they're saying they're going forward with going back to having it. I think they're going to do kind of a hybrid thing, but actually having people in person and seeing all these companies, major players at CES. Like if Amazon's saying their employees aren't going to go back into the office and they're one of the big people down there at CES, what's that mean for that? And for anybody that doesn't know, that's the big tech convention at the beginning of January. It's usually first or second week.
Vegas,
I'm not sure which one this year.
Right?
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
It's huge. And we know Vegas is having some problems right now with COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I wonder if this is just kind of a sign of maybe they start scaling some of those things back again. Just, the information changes so quick with all these different variants and people getting sick and Vegas having issues. Like, what's that going to mean coming up this fall or winter, into the next year?
Well, that's a great point because Adobe, as you know, they have two events, huge events. And one of the events, which is their Adobe Summit, which usually almost occupies the entire Las Vegas strip of hotels. And they've announced that the next two big events that Adobe is having are completely virtual.
Really?
So it'll be interesting because CES is like one of those ones where I think it's kind of like Adobe Summit where it's like that interaction, right? That you can see things happening and you kind of want to be able to touch and feel. Yep. And that's, I guess it can be somewhat difficult to do virtually, but I don't know, Greg, I feel like you could totally crush it virtually. So I feel like CES, you should call Greg because I don't know, I feel like you would be able to handle that.
I would not mind that. We actually covered it as part of my other show, The Inbox with Greg Nibbler. We covered it over, virtually, since it was entirely virtual. It was kind of weird. I mean, it was cool. You still got access to people and got to interview, but that hands-on with the actual products, that is a big part. And another big part of CES too is just like walking around and finding random booths with, companies you've never heard of that could turn someday into the next Google, but they've got some weird product that is just unexpected. Like, that part's a really, really cool feature of it. And you can only really do that in person. But if it's not safe, virtual, I'm all down for it. And I have no problem covering it that way. But it'll be interesting to see where we go this year. I mean,
it'll be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so much going on. I mean, I think like even before we jumped on, and people are talking about these different variants and whatnot. But
Yeah.
safety first, so that's good. But look, I mean, so you're right. I mean, one thing that the announcement was interesting from Amazon was that they're saying that they're actually not going to be requiring their employees to go back vaccinated, but they are saying that if you're not vaccinated, you will be required to wear a mask in the office. So it's a little different from some of the other tech firms which are requiring vaccination. So this vaccine mandate seems to a lot of the big employers right now are embracing it and trying to get more people vaccinated so that they can go back safely. So I don't
Yeah.
know, but I know you got some really cool Amazon news that I'm excited to hear about too. So
Yeah.
do tell.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the products. So this is an announcement that came out last week, and especially for anybody who has an Amazon Echo device. I'll try not to set off your devices too much, but they did. You know what I'm talking about. Alexa.
Yeah.
So if you have that,
She's
it's kind of
listening.
been that same voice forever, and there are a few call words actually that you can use if somebody does have them. There's the main word, but there's also computer. You can also say Echo or Amazon. So there's a couple of different ones that have been available, and those are called the wake words that turn it on. But they've announced two things. One, there is a new wake word, and the new wake word is Ziggy, of all things.
Ziggy.
So, Ziggy. I mean,
Is that active now?
What's that?
Is that already active, Greg?
That's already active. So you can go into your settings of your device. So you go into the actual app that you have downloaded, and you can change it in there. You can also change it to some of those other ones they already had. But yeah, okay. Ziggy is now a word. I mean, the question is, where does that come from? Is it Ziggy Stardust, David Bowie? And apparently Ziggy was also the name of the computer in Quantum Leap, of all things. That's probably a 1% reference, but that's a computer in a television show. So we don't really know why they chose that word, but that is a new word you can put in there and change it to that. So that's where you can say, hey, Ziggy, whatever your
I want to rename my Alexa Ziggy, because Ziggy's I feel like Ziggy's a lot cooler than Alexa. No offense, Alexa, but you're being renamed.
I think for anybody out there with the Alexa name too, who's actually named they're personally Alexa, they're probably happy there's another option out there now. So I'm gonna guess. You've got that, and then there's also a different voice now. So it's kind of a more, as they said, just a more masculine-ish voice. So it's a deeper voice that they've got. So that's another option that you have that you can change it to as well if you're tired of hearing the same voice that you've been getting before. You could do that actually just by telling it to. All you have to do is say, hey, change voice, and the voice will instantly change.
Change the voice. Change the voice every day. I know Sadiq is saying Ziggy Marley. Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, Ziggy Marley.
My Alexa's getting a lot cooler. What about you, Greg? Which way are you gonna go? You gonna stick with Alexa? You gonna go Ziggy?
I'm trying Ziggy just to test it out, just to see if I prefer saying it or not. I've got both. I've got Google and I've got Echo devices, so I like to try out the new features of each one of them, whatever does come out. So I'm trying both the different voice, and which kind of throws me off each time because I'm so used to that standard voice on the Echo device. I'm like, wait, what is that? And saying the other word. Although computer is one that I haven't used, and I kind of want to use that too. Just because, sci-fi and all of those things. So I'll probably end up going with that one, computer. But
that
Ziggy,
makes sense for you.
Yeah, it makes sense for me.
It does make sense for you. I love that. Very cool. Well, as a fun fact, you should actually ask them when you have a chance. Ask Alexa or your Ziggy and say, who is, and you can say, who is Greg Nibbler, or you can say, who is Winnie's son, because actually they pull the data from a Wikipedia profile. So if you have a Wikipedia profile, they will actually tell you. One of my best friends, her son did this and asked who I was and asked their Alexa, and they were just like cracking up because it tells you all this stuff about us.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how much stuff you can do with it and just what some of the different tips and things that you can find out from it. So there's a bunch of them out there. There's actually some good sites. Maybe I'll post one after we're done here on Twitter, just to kind of show some of the different things you can try out, because they're always trying to either one up each other or just between the different smart devices. But cool little things that you can do with those. So definitely some interesting things there. So you had Amazon with those announcements, but you also had Google this week, which made kind of a splash. So I don't know if you know this, but talking about conventions and things, we're kind of entering into the season of new high-end smartphones. It usually starts happening around now. You've got Samsung next week, actually. I think it's next Wednesday, is going to be announcing a bunch of new foldable phones and things like that. You've got Apple, where probably in September, that's usually when they announce the newest iPhone. So that's probably when we'll hear that. But Google's jumping the gun a little bit. Their big announcements in October, but they already have shown what it is. So Google kind of leaks for themselves. So a lot of times these phone companies, somebody will leak pictures. Google's just like, nope, here you go. Here's what it's going to be.
So the pictures are pretty.
Yeah, these are the new Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro. So Google's been making the Pixel line since I think it's about 2016. And these are what the new ones are going to look like. And the design is one thing I always like to look at first, just to see how they handle the cameras in the back. And for them, they're going this time for that strip, kind of a raised strip across the back. And depending whether you're the Pixel 6 or Pixel 6 Pro, it'll depend on how many lenses are actually back there. But what do you think about this design?
Well, Greg, I will be honest with you. I mean, if it had a purpose, like let's say, you could use it as a clip or something, I think that's cool. But when I see that, and if it's only a camera, not that's only a camera, but if it's just a camera, I feel like that's just sort of one of those like cost-effective measures that if I want to upgrade the phone, then you can put a new camera on it. Then that would make sense, sort of like a Lego, upgrade.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I feel like it makes it look kind of cheap.
Yeah. So that's funny that you say that, because that's the opposite of what they're trying to do. But that's a very big telling thing right there. So they decided to go with that strip on the back. I think it's going to be a glass back as well. They're as far as the internal side of things, there's another part of that too. So Google's thing with the Pixel has always been, their push is that their lenses and their AI that analyzes the pictures you take is really, really good. It's on par, if not better in some cases, than Samsung and Apple. And that's kind of been their standout. And now they're switching to using, not to go too far into the nerdy side of it, but they're using their own chip now. It's called a Tensor chip. And this is something that they're making themselves that really, really hones in on the artificial intelligence that processes all the information on there. So they're saying with
faster?
That, what's that?
I mean, what does this super chip do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's faster is what they're saying. And again, nobody's actually tested this yet. This is just going on what they're saying. But faster, they're saying it's going to be able to process videos better. They give an example of like if you're taking a high-speed video, you could take a single frame and it'll be perfect, not blurred or anything like that. You can clip something out. It's because of that processing power, because it'll go so fast. And they're saying that's what's going to give them the leg up over Apple and Samsung, because so far, Pixel phones are a real small percentage of the market, but Google wants to increase that. And this is kind of their first foray into trying to compete with the latest Apple, the latest iPhone, the latest Samsung Galaxy phone. They're saying it's going to be on par with that. And probably the price is going to reflect that. Usually Pixels are a little bit less expensive, being like $600-700 for kind of the base one. Probably going to be jumping up to $1,000, which is about standard for a base level high-end smartphone now. So that's what they're going for. They think that they're going to be able to compete with it. And they're also, they pretty much said you're going to start seeing a lot of advertising for Pixel phones coming up this fall. They said they're putting a bunch of money behind it. So October, when they actually do have their big kind of reveal of these, the full reveal, expect that you're going to see Pixel advertisements everywhere. I think it's going to be a lot.
Well, I love the colors. I love the colors that they come in. I think that's great. I would probably get the pink one. But I will say this. I kind of wish that it wasn't a black strip, because if it was metal, I'm going to assume it's metal or something like that, I just feel like it would get scratched or would just start to look. And I feel like it's too heavy a color against some of these really lighter and happier colors. So I would have loved to see it in more, I don't know, like, some sort of I don't know, maybe even plastic or like some clear or something white, something lighter that sort of matches. That's just my initial thought. But then nowadays we all put cases on our phones. So it's not like, you don't even like, I hardly even remember the color of my phone anymore because it's been wrapped. So maybe, maybe there's that. But I guess if it functions really well and it's really quick, and we know Google seldom messes around, it'll be interesting to see. Greg, are you going to get one?
I do like the Pixel phones a lot. I kind of want to find out. I've never had one. I've been using, as anybody, if you don't know, I'm generally an Android user. I've got a Samsung Galaxy phone right now, but I do like the Pixel phones. I've messed around with them a little bit, and the functionality is pretty cool. You can do some pretty cool stuff with the cameras. So, but I always feel like what it comes down to is looks which is just what you mentioned, because the look to you, looks cheap, and that could be the same for a lot of people. And is the camera good? So we'll have to see how it actually works once we get some more tests on it and some more data. But I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, and I know Google's always does a good job. So yeah, I'm not opposed either. Let's see how this functions. Let's see how you feel. Are you going to be picking up this Google Pixel phone? And what do you think about that strip that Greg was talking about? For me, that was sort of the area where I wasn't that keen. I love the colors. I like the brightness of it. But this piece, I don't know why they did this. I'm not a fan. I just feel like it doesn't help with the aesthetics. Maybe if it helps with the functionality, I feel like even cases would be hard to put on this thing. So to me, it's just like, I just feel like it's an afterthought. Like maybe, we just had to put it on and we'll just make it black. But look at the black and the pink. I don't know. And the yellow. I just feel like it made a light design. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm guessing the designer of the iPhone right now is like, ugh.
It could be, yeah. We'll have to see what iPhone goes with too, with their new one. Again, probably September. Apple doesn't usually tell anybody until about a week or two before they make their announcement, but we're expecting there will be a new line of phones, of course. So yeah, it's just how are they going to design it? Are they going to have it completely different, or what if they already designed it and they went with a strip too, and then it's just gonna be embarrassing?
Then I'll be like, okay, everybody has a strip.
Yeah. So
why not make it a money clip then, or a credit card clip?
Yeah, have something in there for it. That would, yeah, I like that. Maybe have the cameras like the lenses flip out or something.
Yeah, that would be cool, right? Like a total vlogger's camera where you can flip it out, right? And you can stick a microphone in. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Well, they should call us.
Yeah. I know, right? Yeah, we'll have to see, but they're definitely kind of cool seeing that. And again, with Samsung coming out with their stuff next week, that's I think it's just kind of Google getting in there really quickly. Like, remember us? We still got phones too. It's gonna be coming later. But Samsung will be having a bunch of stuff this next week, and those will be their higher end, like the foldable phones. So maybe next week when we do a show, I can kind of talk about those just a little bit. But yeah, it's exciting. It's an exciting time for smartphones.
It is an exciting time. Vicky is saying she likes the technology of Google phone, but not sure about the design of the phone. I know, Vicky, you and I are on the same page there. I know. I see CrossX Fighter says that's a decent looking phone. CrossX Fighter, I guess your question would be, can you play your games on it, right? So that'd be cool. And then Sadiq is saying American phones, they have some software restrictions such as call recording, then waiting for the European version. Oh, interesting. I mean, I think that would make sense. I mean, if you're going to record a call, like you have to obviously get permission to record the call. I didn't know there was restrictions. I do know, like with the iPhone, it's actually very easy to do that screen record. Does it not record audio? I don't know the answer to that, to be honest.
I'm not sure. I maybe there's some apps that you can grab that would do it, but yeah, I mean, technically, for a lot of places, you do need permission to record anything like that. So yeah, I don't know. That's something I thought about. Yeah, when it comes down to it. But that's where we're at with Google. So we'll see. I think that design's going to be, just judging by what we've seen just from feedback right now from people writing in I think it's going to be either you love it, you really like it, or you really don't like it. It seems like it's going to be a polarizing topic.
Yeah, if it was significantly cheaper, and if obviously performance was better or at par, then I can see it doing very, very well, right? Because Google doesn't mess around, and obviously Google has some real great tools at their disposal. But I don't know, from a purely aesthetics, since we're not talking about functionality just yet. Purely aesthetics, I just think, they could have done better.
That's a pass.
Yeah.
And I should say too, when I said the pricing, we don't know exactly what the pricing is going to be. So just to specify that for everybody, they haven't announced. It's just probably this is going to go more toward that higher end range on the pricing. So we'll see what else we can find out on those. But interesting time for smartphones. So expect a lot of cool stuff about that. We do have something else, and this is, I know it's a frequent topic on this show, but I always find it so interesting. And thank you to everybody who's been sending in some articles and topics about this to me. But we've got another flying taxi, some more flying taxi news. This one comes from Joby Aviation, and they've been working on this for a while. It's a German company, but they just did a big test in I think it's Wisconsin at a convention there. But what they did is this is another electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicle. A few companies working on these. This is their version. And they took this thing up and they flew it for the equivalent of 150 miles in the air. And that's a long time to have something up in the air like that. So this was a pretty cool test and showcase of it. So this thing's got 6 rotors on it. It's designed to hold, I think, up to a few passengers. There's different variations of them. They've got a few different kinds of them. But the whole goal is, it's zero emission. So they say that that's going to be naturally a lot better for the environment. I mean, it's just electric power. But 150 miles is a long ways for a flying vehicle, to have that battery hold that much.
That's incredible. I mean, that can get me to Los Angeles and back, Greg. That would be amazing. Skip all that traffic.
Yep. Yeah. And that's what they were just showing, you can go from, I think it was San Francisco to wherever they were going right there. But it's just showing just some of these different kind of commutes and things that you could do. I think, what was the other one demonstration? They said LA to San Diego, Seattle to Vancouver, Portland to Seattle, all those kind of quick flights that you could do with that. And since it's electric, less emissions, vertical takeoff and landing, they could have these on the tops of buildings, and where you can just
park it in the backyard. It doesn't look that big. You could park it in the backyard. And then I think this would do really well in some of the smaller airports, right? You could just park it and then charge it back up, and bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, you have a few of them going, and that's what their goal is for those kinds of trips, like that. Some regional.
All right, Greg, gotta get it.
Yeah, we got it. We got to get him one.
Where are you gonna? Okay, so Greg, quick question: where's the first place that you would take that to if you had one?
Let's see. Well, if it was going from where I am now, like 150 miles away, where would I go? Right now, I would probably take it and hop over to the Oregon coast, which is a place that I go quite a bit, but to skip all the traffic and not have to go over the mountain, just go and plop right down over there. That's probably the first one I would do, just because of that radius. Also, Seattle, that'd be pretty fun. Not to have to sit in traffic, because that can take a long time depending on the traffic. So I like that kind of just little quick puddle jump regional hub thing, and the ease of not having to go probably to a huge airport and do all that. Just like go downtown, hop on top of a building, and fly right up. That's pretty cool.
That is super cool. That is really, really cool. I didn't know Curtis here. Well, I mean, that's what I was going to say. Like, so Curtis is my creative director, and we actually have had to make numerous trips to LA for filming for Good Day LA. And usually I'm on their morning show, which means we actually have to leave the office around like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. So for sure, I think, post COVID, of course, we would take this scene from my office and we would take it to Good Day LA Studios. I think they have a location on the top of their roof for helicopters. So this it would fit perfectly, right, Greg?
Yeah, that's exactly. That would be great. And they're saying, again, we'll have to see, but within 2 to 3 years, they want these to start rolling out and being in the marketplace. And they're looking at all over the world. They're German based, so there's a bunch of European places they're going to go, but also clearly the US. There's a lot of regulations that they have to go through, and that's kind of what they're working on right now. But this demonstration shows that the machinery's capable and ready, and that's what they want to showcase with it. And then it's just getting through. There's probably going to be legislation, so that's what'll slow some things down. I'm sure there's a lot they got to figure out with it, but it's gonna happen. Like, it's happening in I would say 2 to 3 years. You'll start seeing these, maybe sooner. There's a bunch of other companies working on it too.
So Greg, my son is 12. Are you saying that perhaps when he gets his driver's license, he'll also be getting his flying license? I don't know. That seems like that's the direction.
Yeah, I don't know how that part will work, because what it'll take to fly some of these. I mean, the other talk is some of these are going to be autonomous also, so you won't even have somebody.
I'm good with that. I don't want to drive.
Yeah, you'd have somebody in there. Either you'd have a pilot. There's different options, like having a pilot in there, having it be autonomous, or having a pilot on the ground, just controlling it like a.
Oh, that's cool too. So, what do you think about that, Cross-X Fighter? You could do this on your spare time. You could actually drive people to and from where they need to be. Cross-X Fighter, that would be your side gig. You could totally do that, because he is a video game king.
There you go.
There you go. Side hustle. That's what, that's where gaming pays off. Okay. My kids will be so happy to hear that all their gaming, they could actually have a future driving drones for people.
Yeah. The more we're talking about this could be exactly what they could be doing. It's their
right.
driver's license.
Okay. Greg, I feel like, Greg, we should come up with a virtual driving school, like a flying school, Greg. create this, and then we could have students at our school teaching them how to drive automated drone, blah, blah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on board. I don't know if I would be the best teacher. We might have to, but I mean, you could.
We'll find someone good. My husband's an incredible driver. We'll find some really great people to teach the school. But look at Greg. I'm thinking there's going to be licensing requirements. I mean, this could be our future retirement right there.
Yeah, there it is. All right. We'll have to get to work on that. The Loop Drone Driving School.
There you go. Cross-X Spiders, like I'll be a professor.
Nice. All right, we already got our first hire right there. Oh yeah, it's always cool though. Just so I think we're going to see more and more of these kinds of things coming up with just demonstrations.
That is really cool.
Flying taxis and cars. So that was something that was in the news. Okay, here's one other thing, and this kind of switches gears, talking about virtual reality. And there's a lot of companies doing it, but Facebook owns Oculus, in case people didn't realize they bought Oculus. So one of the most popular VR systems out there, but they also have a research team that kind of looks into where virtual reality, augmented reality are right now and how it's going to evolve. And they're anticipating that a lot more people are going to get into it, using it even for work purposes. But one thing, this is just an experiment. This isn't something that's necessarily going to come out, but they wanted to take a look at what it's like for people who, when you're wearing one of these things, sometimes when you have your VR goggles on, there's a pass-through function on a lot of them to where you can see other people, but they can't see your eyes. So they wanted to do an experiment to see what it would be like if you could actually pass through the visual of somebody's eyes while they're looking at you. And that was what they were kind of working on, to see how that would actually translate. So there's an example. So you could actually have the eye contact factor. And this is looking at, a world where everybody's wearing these at work or in social situations, and you can flip this on and right. It's so creepy looking to me, but and
don't look at me.
Yeah. And I think even one of the head people on this design team, one of the bosses, was like, that's weird, but I guess I see what they're going for here. So it's trying to bring back, the idea of having eye contact with somebody.
Yeah, Vicky is saying scary. Vicky, I'm with you. It really is. That is scary. I gotta say, I will be okay if the next future where we don't have to make such distinct eye contact, because eye contact in small amounts is good. But you know how when you talk to somebody and they're literally staring at you, making total eye contact, it's very eerie. And I feel like if we're gonna go VR, that should be Greg. You should tell them we should not do that. Dear tell
Facebook, them. No.
What if your eyes change colors and stuff like that? That'd be really freaky.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but if this goes like all these people are predicting and putting money into, VR is going to be more and more a part of our daily lives, whatever that looks like. So that's kind of what the idea was behind that, just to see if people will how they'll respond.
So Greg, I'm thinking, okay, so let's say I'm talking to you and you got this stuff going on, right? I'll be like, can you make the function so I can see the ticker tape with the stock numbers going up and down on your eyes?
Probably. Maybe, maybe that would help maintain the eye contact.
Then I could watch you without feeling that weird about it.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, I'm with you. Too much eye contact. Yeah, that'll get.
It's a little eerie, and of course, how it looks like, because Sadiq is saying that Facebook's teaming up with Ray-Ban to make their first sunglasses. So, are these going to look cool? Like we talked about Google's Pixel phone. I like to see, what these look like too. They got to look good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of research and development going on in all of those, for whether it's VR or AR and smart glasses, and there already are some smart glasses out there. I mean, eventually it's going to get to smart contact lenses. We're going to skip all of that altogether. That'll just be what you have on, and go into the Black Mirror kind of territory. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I'm excited about some of it, and some of it is creepy, like weird eyes that are staring at you. That part's a little bit.
Vicky is saying, "I have got eye on you."
There's their catchphrase. Yeah, there it is.
There you
Contact
go.
their marketing team.
Boom, boom.
So, yeah, just kind of interesting to see where that's going to go. But that's something they're working on, and I think creepy number one. Maybe there will be a
good
function
for Halloween
later on. Always cool to see what people are doing.
It is cool, Greg. And this is why we love your segment, because you share us. So every time, like, you give me stuff to talk about for the whole week. I just love hearing these stories. Okay, what else we got?
Well, here's something that we talked about earlier in the week. And this may not necessarily be tech. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it's nerdy. So for sure. So in sci-fi. So it's talking about Disney. And you were bringing up earlier, they have the different passes now, but they've announced more information about this stay that you can do. And it's something I've been teasing for a long time in association.
I'm so excited about this.
With Galaxy's Edge, Galaxy's Edge being their entire Star Wars themed area. They've been saying for a while now that eventually you're going to be able to stay there and be part of a Star Wars experience. And we have more info on it. One of the things they released is they were talking about what the pricing is going to be. Mm-hmm. I'll get to the pricing here in a minute.
I'll tease it. It's the price of an IRA.
Yeah. Okay.
Or a Roth IRA.
For those. Okay. Yep. That's exactly what I was going to say. You nailed it. So it is. This experience, though, is pretty cool of what it would be if you're a real Star Wars, nerd. And it's kind of like the ultimate LARPing, if for anybody who knows what that is, live action role playing. It's going and you're going to stay at this hotel. The whole experience, you're going to show up. They've got what looks like a spaceport, and you go in, and then you travel to a galactic star cruiser, where you join up on this star cruiser. You dress up for the part. You dress in whatever some different Jedi clothes, and you stay in a hotel that makes it look like you're on a giant star cruiser ship. All the restaurants are themed that way. Everything on this in this entire hotel, you're not actually going to a star cruiser. Everything in the hotel is themed to look like that, and they've got tons of actors that are going to be playing the roles of aliens, different people on the ship. They all interact. They all apparently stay in character. So fun. It's so dorky, but I really want to do it at the same time.
I'm totally doing this.
Yeah.
It's going to be in Florida, though, so we got to wait, because right now,
Yeah. Well, they're
going to have them, even looks cool.
Right? I mean, and taking a look, I'm just looking at some of the different things that they're going to lie to you. Yeah. First class cuisine. They're going to have live music entertainment. So maybe they have, the band from Tatooine. They've got all these, real lightsaber props. They've got different things you can do, interacting with lightsabers. And there's secret missions you can engage on. Ooh. Where you'll form a secret plot, apparently, with one of the actors on there. And you'll do all these different kinds of things. This
is so cool.
It's so cool.
I
would be totally down with this.
I know.
The price, though, and that's what we're looking at.
There we go.
And so what I'm seeing right now is it's starting at $4,809 for 2 adults for a 2-night stay. So
I read it's about 6,000. IRA contribution, my friends, maximum contribution 6,000. I read it's around 6,000 for a family. So
yeah,
I'm guessing you're right there. Now, let me ask you this. So here's the thing. So you get this cool Star Wars clothes, right? Is this part of you get to keep your Star Wars clothes? Because I feel like you should be able to. That's kind of fun.
For that kind of price, yeah. But I bet that could be an add-on too, because that price I just said, I think that's one of the base prices for 2 people. So I'm sure there's just so many different add-ons you can throw onto that.
Add-ons.
I think it includes food. It doesn't include. They have alcoholic beverages, some other stuff that's not included on it. So I'm sure there's plenty of ways you can upgrade.
It's it's like being on a cruise ship without being on a cruise ship. So it's like I get that, because I know Disney does a great job with their cruise ships. They even have this thing called Pirate Night, where you dress up as a pirate and you do that whole experience. But this is kind of cool because you're getting that without actually having to get on a boat. But you can have this. I feel like, what? I feel like we're gonna have to definitely bring the cameras for this. This is some pretty exciting things. We should do this, Greg. When the pandemic is all behind us, I'll bring my family. We'll meet out there, and we should totally. Curtis, you coming too? We're gonna film this thing because this should be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. I have no problem being a nerd for 2 days. I can definitely do that.
Only 2 days.
Only 2 days. The rest of the time, as everybody knows, very cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
This sounds like so much fun. Swinging around a lightsaber, interacting with actors who are paid to be. You would say it out loud.
I have a lightsaber downstairs, really. Actually.
Nice. Yeah. See, so you're already one step above the game.
Yeah. the question is, which character, for those who are watching, which character do you think Greg could play in Star Wars?
Ooh, okay. Yeah, if I were to play one
Yeah.
from an actual Star Wars
Which one? Like
movie,
which one? Yeah. Because I feel like I could see you in some live action movies, just so you know, Greg. So I'm thinking you're thinking this.
I mean,
So
I'm down. You know, Mandalorian calls right now. I'll be on a plane. But
yeah.
yeah.
And
I'm on board.
Sadiq makes a great point, because today Virgin Galactic just announced that the price of flight on their fancy space shuttle thingies, 450,000 big ones. So yeah, definitely going to this event where you actually don't go to space is, I guess, kind of a bargain then, huh? It's like really cheap compared to that.
Yeah, definitely
In
compared to that.
comparison. And that's what, 10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes in space. I think the whole trip for Virgin Galactic is like a couple of hours, but most of that's just flying up and then gliding back down. And yeah, it's only a few minutes in space, maybe not even 10. It's not long that's up there. Yeah, for $450,000 though, I thought that was definitely an interesting thing for them to put that out there. That seems, because originally they sold tickets for, I think it was 250,000. Now 450,000.
I thought, like, I don't know. I honestly don't remember, but I was thinking like maybe Jeff Bezos was saying 250,000. Maybe you're right. I mean, well, no, that's right. Jeff had it being bidding higher and higher, so probably was a lot higher. But you know, it's really interesting. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that this experience two different target markets, right? Certainly, I think Greg and I are not in the Virgin Galactic target market presently. I have better things to do by 450,000. If I had 450,000 to burn, probably not to. Yeah,
probably not for a 10-minute ride to space. Yeah, probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah, maybe a house would be a better investment. But still, that's that's what they're going with that one. So it's all kind of interesting just to see where this is all going to go. You know, and the Star Wars one, I mean, once they start showing some more, because they're only giving little teases, like I was just showing, they have like the animation or the little drawings of what it could look like. Like, we're going to find out more. There are some more images out there that they have put out showing what it can be like, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. But you'll have to be a big Star Wars fan to get into it.
I think it's worth it just to do. I mean, because what I like about this is, because I didn't hear you talk about this, I'm assuming this is that I don't think they're selling this as one of those like vacation packages or timeshare. So I think that's good. So that way you can have that experience without committing to this. Because I'm sure this is sort of those one-time things you would do. I can't see you repeating this like multiple times. In like, let's say in 5 years, you probably only do this once in 5 years. I don't think you would do this every year, right? I mean, it seems
unless they came up with different experiences as far as, I don't know. I'm going to guess they have some kind of multiple choice, kind of choose your own adventure aspect to it in some way. Because whether you want to, work with the First Order or whether you want to, I'm sure there's going to be some different, there's going to be different ways you would think.
Says that you look like Luke Skywalker, Greg.
I will take that. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. I have no problem with that. Yeah.
Isn't Luke Sky? Wait, no, that's not. I was going to say, who did Harrison Ford play?
That's Han Solo.
Han Solo, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. That would have been
Han Solo adventure. Get the Chewie. I mean, maybe you get a guy who's dressed in a Wookiee suit next to you. That would be
Chewbacca.
Yep. Get a Chewbacca, like you've been assigned Chewbacca as your roommate for the
That'd be cool, actually.
They have to stay in character the whole time.
That'd be cool. Very cool.
But yeah, so kind of cool stuff announced this week. Definitely a lot of fun. I know, next week too, we've got some pretty exciting stuff going on.
We do. We have some really exciting stuff. And Greg, I'm so glad you brought that up, because next week, we definitely want you to join us. And we're making a special episode. Next week, we'll be coming to you live on Tuesday instead of our normal Thursday, because we have a very special topic. We're going to be talking about back to school. Now, for those of you who maybe you don't have kids, don't worry, you're definitely going to turn into this one, because this actually is applicable whether you have kids or not, because we're talking back to school things that you should be paying attention to in terms of technology and other cool features in terms of, really cool smart masks and all sorts of things. Because those of you may know, back to school is actually one of the biggest and best shopping experiences of the year. In fact, more people spend money during back to school, second only to the holidays at the end of the year, near Christmas and Hanukkah and all the other important holidays during that time of year. Back to school, people spend that much money. So there's so many cool gadgets and new things that we want to put on your radar. So whether you have a student at home or not, that's definitely a show that you don't want to miss. So that'll be next Tuesday, same time, 2:30 on West Coast here, or 5:30 if you're joining us from the East Coast. And we really, really want to make sure that you're here, because I know Greg's and I are preparing some really, really cool things. We're going to have a lot of fun demos too, I think.
Yeah, I am excited for that. I will not spoil anything, but I am very excited for the demo segment that's going to be a part of that. And yeah, like you mentioned, there's so many different aspects too for all of this, and especially the times that we're in. We're going back to school, whether it's virtual, whether it's in person. So if you have any questions, or if you want me to maybe feature something to talk about something tech-wise, please send me a message, on Twitter at Greg Nibbler. You can email, you can contact us any number of ways, however you want to get a hold of me. LinkedIn, Greg at twoboxmedia.com. You can email me there. Let me know what you're interested in, and I can see if I can maybe feature some of that as well. But definitely some cool stuff. And things to think about when it comes down to that. So we're really excited for that episode. And I'm just excited for everybody who tunes in and joins us. Like, thanks everybody for the comments today.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And thank you for the compliment, the Luke Skywalker compliment.
I know. Thank you, Vicky. That was so kind of you. Vicky is joining us from the UK. So definitely, Vicky, tell all your friends. It's going to be a really fun show. That was talking about back to school. As you know, this year, back to school spending we're expecting to pass $38 billion. So
wow,
it's going to be a lot of money. So you're going to want to know how to spend your money in a smart way. And so we're going to give you some different ideas. We'll also be going live next Tuesday, not only on the channels that you're joining us from today, but we'll also be joining us from Amazon Live next week too. So that'll be a lot of fun. So you can choose the platform of your choice, and that's what we will be. But Sadiq is saying, may the force be with you. Yes, may the force be with you as well, Sadiq.
Absolutely. Sadiq, thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you all so much for tuning in. As Greg said, yeah, definitely reach out to you, to us. We love to hear from you. And of course, if you have any other ideas, this was what makes this show so special. And thank you so much for the kind comments. I think Sadiq also said that he likes to watch the show because this is a happy show. Yes, we are.
Thank you so much. Yeah, appreciate it greatly. And yeah, all of you who join us every week, thank you. Thanks for telling people and sharing it as well. We just want to have fun, and it's always fun. Being with Winnie here on this show is always fun, as you all know, and it's also fun having everybody else here and being a part of it and the interaction.
Yeah,
so appreciate it all.
Well, thank you so much. And then I guess with that, we will just see you next Tuesday. Don't forget, new day.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See you then.
Thank you. Bye-bye.